Hello, guys. Let's keep going with our appendix with all of our archetypes in the back and our definitions. So we are going to be reading G, H, and I in this video. Let's start with the gambler. The gambler, and we're still reading Sacred Contracts by Caroline Myss. I have to put that out there every time. The gambler is a risk taker who plays the odds. This archetype has many more aspects than are commonly considered. Oh, and I'm whispering because my son is not asleep yet. Sorry. Trying to talk a little lower. More aspects. So this archetype has many more aspects than are commonly considered, including not just card sharps and racetrack gamblers, but also drug addicts, entrepreneurs, and day traders. The gambler is also active in the psyche of people who take risk in politics and other social activities that amount to gambling with one's reputation. From an energetic perspective, gambling is an attempt to outrun the speed at which ordinary change happens. Acquiring great wealth in a casino in one throw of the dice or by winning the lottery is a spectacular experience, not only because of the money, but because of the experience of the compression of time. The drama of trying to outrun the odds is the psychic lock on the gambler within a person's psyche. The positive aspect of this archetype manifests in following hunches and in belief in one's intuition, even in the face of universal doubt. From real estate ventures to scientific research, hunches have often yielded fruitful outcomes. To assess whether you are a gambler, review your ability to follow your intuition and what others might consider risky inner guidance. Ask yourself how many of your decisions are based on gut instinct rather than facts and figures. You can evaluate your relationship to the shadow gambler according to whether you have a compulsion. Some people who are obsessed with winning lotteries and striking it rich at casino tables or in get-rich-quick or pyramid schemes may spend relatively little money compared to professional gamblers, but their focus on finding ways to beat the odds is a central part of their life. A related form of gambling may affect the way you are focused on looking for lucky breaks in your relationships, rather than doing the hard psychic work needed to make them succeed. And some films that may be relatable. Steve McQueen in The Cincinnati Kid, this is going to be the shadow aspect. Paul Newman, Jackie Gleason, and George C. Scott in The Hustler, shadow aspect. Woody Harrelson and Wesley Snipes in White Men Can't Jump. Edith Evans in The Queen of Spades, Clive Owen in Croupier. Roger Duchesne in Bob Le Flambeur, or Bob the Gambler. And fiction, The Gambler by Dostoevsky. And in Religion and Myth, Jason and Odysseus, heroic figures of Greek legend who fearlessly gambled against the odds, risking life and limb to achieve their goals. And Kunawabe, Native American peyote figure known as a gambler who takes many risky adventures and who also brings night and illness. Now we have God, and it also says Adonis-see also hero. Whether a great worldly power or a great physical specimen, the God archetype represents the ultimate in male dominance. On the positive side, a god can be benevolent and compassionate, willing to use his powers to help others out of love for humanity. The shadow god easily becomes a dictator or despot, oppressing others with those same powers, or using his physical attractiveness to get what he wants without ever returning the affection he elicits. To claim this archetype among your support circle of 12, you need to have a lifelong sense of great power, used either selfishly or selflessly. You may feel a powerful connection to a particular deity. So here are a few from the Roman Greek pantheon. We have Jupiter/Zeus, Father God, head of the pantheon, Bacchus and Dionysus for wine and revelry, Mars and Ares for war, Neptune and Poseidon for the sea, Pluto and Hades for death and the underworld. And let me just verify, Jupiter and Zeus are the father god and head of the pantheon. I don't think I clarified that. In films, we have Marlon Brando in the Godfather trilogy, and in Religion and Myth, Like the archetype in human manifestation, mythic and religious gods run the gamut from omniscient, benevolent deities to arbitrary destroyers. In addition to those listed above are Yahweh, Hebrew, Shiva, Vishnu, Brahma, Indra, which is Hindu, Allah, Muslim, Ra, Osiris, and Ta, Egyptian, and Baal, a Canaanite, Marduk and Ishtar, Babylonian, Quetzalcoatl and Tezcatlipoca, Aztec, Enlil and Dumuzi, Sumerian, Osun and Olukan, Yoruba, and Wakantanka, Native American. Goddess. It says, see also hero or heroine. The oldest religious tradition on earth may well be goddess worship, which some archaeologists trace back further than 30,000 years. It was certainly natural to worship the archetype of woman as the source of all life, especially in the age before male warriors replaced her with their combative sky gods. The connection of fertility with exaggerated sexual attributes found in ancient statues of the goddess survives in modern worship of screen goddesses, such as Marilyn Monroe and Jane Mansfield. And I'm pretty sure everyone knows Marilyn Monroe, but many may not know who. The author is using a lot of older books, films, and things like that, so that's okay. You can always look it up. But those are the two most well-known, Jane Mansfield. The goddess can be inspiring to women, embodying wisdom, guidance, physical grace, athletic prowess, and sensuality. This aspect is awakened by our relation to the goddesses of various spiritual traditions, including Kali, Durga, and Uma in India, Tara in Tibet, Kuan Yin in China, and the many manifestations of Mary, the mother of Jesus, in Western belief, such as Our Lady of Guadalupe or the Black Madonna of Chetsukawa. Sorry, I don't think I'm saying that right. It reminds me of Czechoslovakia, but it's not. The shadow side of the goddess emerges from the exploration of the feminine power, including the exploitation or overindulgence of movie stars and fashion models. Identifying with the goddess figure as a major archetype in your chart requires that you review lifelong associations with the image and personality associated with it. Athena is the able-bodied warrior woman as well as the classic, powerful woman behind the throne. Today, we see this power re-emerging in popular form in neo-mythic characters, such as Xena Warrior Princess and Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Attractive women who are also strong and capable. The energy of Venus or Aphrodite is prevalent in women who form their self-image strongly around their sexuality. Study the specific qualities of each goddess and evaluate how much your sense of self is reflected in one of those patterns, beginning with a few of the most familiar names from the Roman Greek pantheon. So we have Venus/Aphrodite, which is for love and fertility, Diana or Artemis, nature and hunting, Minerva or Athena, strength and clear thinking, and Ceres and Demeter for motherhood, Juno or Hera for queenship and partnership, Proserpina and Persephone for mysticism and mediumship, Sophia for wisdom. Films: Kim Stanley in The Goddess, Ava Gardner in One Touch of Venus, Marilyn Monroe in The 7-Year Itch, and Mira Sorvino in Mighty Aphrodite. Fiction, we have, it's just a book called She by H. Rider Haggard. I'm finding some new books to read. I'm always reading another book other than this one that's just for fun. Not that these aren't fun, but I'm finding some new books to read here. Religion and Myth. Every culture in the world has mythological stories portraying the power of the goddess. Besides those mentioned above, you can choose from Tara and Kuan Yin, who are Tibetan and Chinese bodhisattvas of compassion. Kuan Yin is actually an ascended master. Amaterasu Omigami, who is the Shinto sun goddess. Shakti, who is the Hindu personification of energy as Divine Mother, Bronwen, who's the Celtic goddess of love and beauty, Oshan, East African Yoruba goddess of pleasure, love, and beauty, Panjin Lian, Chinese goddess of prostitution, Frigg, the Norse goddess of marriage, motherhood, children, and midwifery, and Turan, the Etruscan goddess of love, health, and fertility. Next, we have gossip, and another word for that is a networker. I like it. Although I have a feeling they're not exactly the same thing, but it's the most comparable. If you caught my first video reading A through C, I read a small introduction that explains how she's sort of bunching some of these together, because what she's offering us isn't even the tip of the iceberg as far as archetype goes. These are just the ones presented to her most by people that she works with and deals with in daily life. So if you want a full list, go online. There's well over 300 of them. The gossip archetype is associated with rumor spreading, backbiting, and passing along information that is exaggerated and harmful and intended to disempower. On a professional level, the shadow gossip manifests as publishing misleading information, creating damaging rumors, or hounding celebrities for their photos. Although everyone is prone to listening to and spreading gossip in some way, a gossip archetype thrives on the power that is generated by passing around information that is secret or private. Most people would hesitate to choose this archetype because of its negative implications. Yet many others make their living in the business of political, social, and entertainment gossip in a positive way. The archetype is connected to lessons of truth, integrity, and honoring the trust another has placed in you. In assessing your connection to the gossip, review how many of your life lessons have emerged from participating in gossip that has harmed another and then coping with the consequences. Do you measure the quality of a relationship by whether a person is willing to share secrets with you? And now some films. Rosalind Russell in The Women, Richard Haydn in Sitting Pretty, Burt Lancaster in The Sweet Smell of Success, John Malkovich and Glenn Close in Dangerous Liaisons. And in Religion Myth, we have Ratatosk. In Norse myth, a squirrel whose name means swift teeth lives in the world tree called Drassel and is a notorious gossip. Then we have guide, or guru, sage, crone, wise woman, spiritual master, evangelist, preacher. The guide takes the role of teacher to a spiritual level, teaching not only the beliefs and practices that make up established religions, but also the overarching principle of seeing the divine in every aspect of life. Clearly, you do not have to be a professional preacher or guru to have this archetype, as we can all learn to lead others spiritually by developing our own intuitive spiritual awareness and then passing on whatever we've learned with genuine humility. To count this archetype as part of your support group, however, you will need to discern in your life a continuing pattern of devoting yourself to teaching others from your own spiritual experiences. Wisdom also comes with age, and so the crone or wise woman represents the ripening of natural insight and the acceptance of what is, allowing one to pass that wisdom on to others. The shadow aspect of the guide is visible in many modern televangelists and gurus of various traditions, who are more interested in financial gain and controlling their followers than in imparting genuine spiritual insight. Films. Meeting with Remarkable Men It just says films. Meeting with Remarkable Men. And then Robert Duvall in The Apostle. And in Religion and Myth, we have Marpa, a Buddhist master and guru of Milarepa, who guided him through arduous tasks to become the greatest yogi of Tibet. Let's see. I'm just figuring out where we are. Okay. So now we have a healer, and there's two types of these that we're going to cover. So there's she gives us several, but she's focusing on healer and wounded healer. So for healer, we have the wounded healer, intuitive healer, caregiver, nurse, therapist, and analyst. The healer archetype manifests as a passion to serve others in the form of repairing the body, mind, and spirit. It expresses itself through channels other than those classically associated with the healing of illnesses. And so you need to look beyond the obvious definition of what you do. You can be strongly guided by this archetype in any occupation or role in life. Some people, by their very nature and personality, are able to inspire others to release their painful histories or make changes in their lives that redirect the course of their future. Essential characteristics include an inherent strength and ability to assist people in transforming their pain into a healing process, as well as having the wiring required to channel the energy needed to generate physical or emotional changes. And in religion and myth, we have Rabbi Hanina ben Dosa, a Jewish healer considered to have been in the same class as Jesus. Then we have Ninkarak, a Babylonian Sumerian goddess who nursed sick humans. Bear Medicine Woman, an American Indian healing spirit. Mukuru, creator god of the Herero Bushmen of Namibia, who sends life-giving rain, heals the sick, and cares for the elderly. Then we have the wounded healer. The wounded healer is initiated into the art of healing through some form of personal hardship. Anything from an actual physical injury or illness to the loss of all one's earthly possessions. Regardless of the shape of the wound, the challenge inherent in this initiation process is that one is unable to turn to others for help beyond a certain degree of support. Only the initiate can ultimately heal the wound. If it is an illness or accident, it will frequently be one for which there is no conventional care. The wounded healer archetype emerges in your psyche with the demand that you push yourself to a level of inner effort that becomes more a process of transformation than an attempt to heal an illness. Excuse me. I think my voice is going to go out after a few more of these. If you have successfully completed the initiation, you inevitably experience an exceptional healing, and a path of service seems to be divinely provided shortly after the initiation is complete. The shadow of both healer and wounded healer manifests through a desire to take advantage of those who need help, including claims that you can heal any and every illness a person has. Now, some films. Ellen Burstyn in Resurrection, Louise Fletcher in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. I think that's Nurse Ratched. If you haven't seen it, you should. It's good. And that's the shadow aspect, by the way, and if you've seen it, you understand. Rosalind Russell in Sister Kenny, Barbara Stanwyck in Miracle Woman, based on Amy Semple McPherson. I don't know if that's like based on a real person, I think. For fiction, we have The Citadel by A.J. Cronin, Elmer Gantry by Sinclair Lewis, which is the shadow aspect. And for religion and myth, we have Asclepios, a Greek hero who later became a plague god, then the god of medicine and healing. Then we have Asclepius, Roman god of healing based on the Greek Asclepius. Then we have Garuda, great golden bird with an eagle's beak and wings and human body, the Indian symbol of medicine. Then we have Mediterrina, healer, a Roman goddess of wine and health, who is later syncretized into the cult of Asclepius. Then we have, I don't even know how I can say this, Ayikalduk, Inuit god of healing. The medicine Buddhas, most prominently the Baishya Guru in Tibet and Yakushi Nayori in Japan, who symbolize the healing and transformative quality of Buddhahood. Now, Hedonist, or Bon Vivant, Chef, Gourmet, Gourmand, Sybarite, and it says, see also Mystic. That's quite a a broad variety, a hedonist or a chef or gourmet. This is really interesting. I don't know if you're finding this interesting, but I am. This archetype has an appetite for the pleasurable aspects of life, from good food and wine to sexuality and sensuality. As scientific research has shown, pleasure can improve our health and extend our lives and needs to be part of a balanced life. Indulging the self is central to the psyche of this archetype, whether treating oneself to a health spa or learning the nuances of lovemaking. That the hedonist is generally thought of as someone who pursues extremes of self-indulgence is more a reflection of our Puritan heritage than of the archetype itself. In positive terms, it inspires creative energy in the psyche to embrace the good things in life. It also challenges in a positive way the collective archetypal fear of being seduced and losing control in the physical world. The shadow hedonist may manifest as pursuing pleasure without regard for other people or one's own good health. You know, I made a list for myself after looking through this, but after reading these, I have a feeling that many of them are going to change as I gain more of an understanding of things not always being super obvious. The search for physical ecstasy parallels the search for spiritual transformation, a truth that is apparent in the dual identity of the famous Greek icon of pleasure-seeking, Dionysus. Besides being a god of wine and fertility, later adopted by the Romans as Bacchus, Dionysus, or Dionysus, also represents the goal of mystery religions, like those practiced at Eleusis. Ecstatic delivery from the mundane world through the physical or spiritual intoxication induced by secret rites. The sacrament of Soma, also a god of the Vedic pantheon, played a similar role in ancient Indian spirituality. Some films: Babette's Feast, Like Water for Chocolate, and Big Night. Fiction: Tom Jones by Henry Fielding, The Unbearable Lightness of Being by Milan Kundera, and then we have Les Liaisons Dangereuses, it's French, by P. Chodoleros de la Clos. I just probably butchered that whole thing. And in Religion and Myth, Oshan, the Yoruba goddess of love and pleasure who is generous and benign. Then we have Bebion, the Irish patron goddess of pleasure, Kadesh, Western Semitic fertility goddess and epitome of sexuality and eroticism, Bes, Egyptian dwarf god originally associated with royalty and childbirth, who became popular among the masses as a god of human pleasures of mirth, music, and dance. And now we have the last H. And funny enough, we do have some I's, but they're linked up with some P words. And yeah, just, okay, I'm going to stop right there because I don't want to confuse you. So we have hero or heroine. See also knight, warrior, god, or goddess. Many of the gods of the world's ancient religions began their lives as heroes, capable of great feats of strength or skill. The hero is also a classic figure in ancient Greek and Roman literature, often portrayed as one who must confront an increasingly difficult path, a difficult path of obstacles in order to birth his manhood. Today, this archetype holds a dominant position in the social mind as an icon of both male and female power. From the superheroes of comic books such as Superman and Wonder Woman, to television and countless movies and popular novels. In the classic hero's journey, as defined by Joseph Campbell and others, an individual goes on a journey of initiation to awaken an inner knowing or spiritual power. The self emerges as the hero faces physical and internal obstacles, confronting the survival fears that would compromise his journey of empowerment and conquering the forces arrayed against him. The hero then returns to the tribe with something of great value to all. From a shadow aspect, the hero can become empowered through disempowerment of others. The manner in which the hero uses his physical powers is a reflection of the spirit of the hero, represented through authentic acts of heroism. And some films: Sigourney Weaver in Alien, Dustin Hoffman in Hero, Jeff Bridges in The Last American Hero, Kevin Costner in The Postman and Waterworld, Debbie Reynolds in The Unsinkable Molly Brown, and Seema Biswas as Phoolan Devi in Bandit Queen. Excuse me. Religion and myth. We have Ulysses, hero of the Odyssey, whose most renowned trait was his supreme resourcefulness, the ability to find a way out of the most dangerous situation. Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita, his questioning of his hero/warrior role leads the god Krishna to instruct him in divine wisdom. Then we have Hidesato, in Japanese legend, a killer of many monsters, including the feared centipede. Then we have Sanjay, a hero trickster of the Native American Kiowa tribe. And Paul Bunyan, legendary hero of the lumber camps of the American Northwest, whose feats included creating the Grand Canyon by dragging his axe behind him. Then Theseus, Athenian hero who slew the Marathonian bull and the Minotaur. And Bernardo del Caprio, a 9th century Spanish hero credited with defeating Roland at Roncesvalles. Okay, so we'll stop right there with, what did we read? A, B, C, D, E, and F. Okay. I'm trying to read 3 at a time. That's running us about 30 minutes each. So in the next video, we'll be doing J, K, and L. And her alphabet only goes to W. There's no words that start with the rest of the alphabet after that. So thankfully, we don't have to go fully through, although it doesn't save us, but what, 3 letters? So we're going to stop right there, and I will be posting and making my next video with the next 3 letters very soon. Thank you for joining me. I love you all so much. See you soon. Bye-bye.